everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 4, Episode 37, V-Coptr Falcon Release and Mavic 3 Update. Hope everyone's doing well. First of all, everybody here in the States, I hope everybody had a safe, enjoyable Labor Day holiday yesterday. We did a lot of nothing. We did watch, Valerie saw a movie for the first time she'd never seen before, The Great Escape, okay? Classic World War II movie, Steve McQueen. Can't beat it. Fantastic movie. Almost 3 hours long. Anyway, hope everybody's doing well tonight. We have a lot line coming up here tonight. We have a pretty packed show. Got a lot to talk about. Seems there's been more news in the news cycle, and it's just like by the time Tuesday rolls around, it's nice that there's some news that I can talk about. So, without further ado, let's see here. I'm trying to get my chat to pop out. Boy, oh boy. All right, here we go. All right, let's see who all is here. John Olson, Fly Zone Drones, Mr. Stephen Ewing from Ireland, Dr. Ted Bowman, welcome Ted, Leonard Oglesby, Jake's Drone Life. Let's see who else is here. Johnny Drone Flyer, welcome Johnny, glad to see you're with us. Jim Bardo, Drone Views Media, Jake's Drone Life, Barry Markowitz, welcome. That this will be your ultimate show of the year, Barry Eyes. Every show is the ultimate show of the year, but thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Maddie's Drone World, Maddie, welcome. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. First of all, we're very thankful to hear our good friend Johnny Drone Flyer is doing well. Had to go without power for quite some time, and had some couple of people from the drone world stop by to check in on him personally, and that's just awesome. Just really appreciate it, Johnny. We're like 2 thumbs up, and trust me, we here in Florida, and I know we know what this is like, and we know what you've gone through, and glad you were able to hang in there, because it's not easy going without power like that. That's really, that can be really trying like that. So we're real happy you're doing well. Scott Nadu, welcome. Glad you're here tonight. Like I said, we got a lot to talk about, and I live for my banners here, guys. Okay. Absolutely live for my banners. Okay. News and updates. We're just going to kind of, I just kind of talked about the news and updates. We're real thankful Johnny's doing well and okay. Captain Ray Kelly's in. It's not a show until Captain Ray Kelly shows up. Matthew Caswell's here. Hal 9000 Zigzag Ground Zero is here. Glad you're here. Glad you're here, Ray. Okay. All right. News and updates. We kind of covered all that already. And so tomorrow, the big day, the Take 5 event. As they say, it's going to be anticlimactic. All right. Really, there's really, let's face it. We all know it's going to be the Osmo Mobile 5 that's going to be coming out tomorrow. No, I don't mean to do that. But for those of you that are into gimbals and motorized gimbals, this looks like it could be something, okay? With that extension on that pole, I think that's going to be a great hit for DJI. I think they'll do well on that. My whole thing with these how do I want to say it? With these gimbals, all right, you got to take your phone on and off all the time, and that's a pain in the butt. Speaking of phones, all right, Mr. Stephen Ewing, I think you recognize this, okay? All right, yes, you probably know what I'm talking about, okay? There you go, the Galaxy Fold, all right? Galaxy Fold. Guys, I got to show you this wallpaper, okay? It's too good. Check out this wallpaper. It's landing on a runway there. Look at that. Look at that. You can't beat it. This phone is the bomb. All right. Pictures on it were fantastic. And I know our good friend Stephen Ewing has been using it as on his flying with his drones with the app. So yeah, this is good stuff here, guys. I get 2 thumbs up. Valor gives 2 thumbs up as well too. Okay. Still waiting on cases, because cases always seem to be a little behind when it's a brand new kind of phone. So anyway, yeah, it is a huge screen, Ray. It is. It's absolutely wonderful. And I actually have a little tablet stand that I've been using for when we watch things in bed on my tablet. Well, I gave that to Valerie so she can use it on her phone, because it's hard holding that phone open like that. But if you have that, or if you set it down, it ends up being pretty good. Oh, Steven, I'm telling you, my friend, absolutely love it. I mean, I am absolutely in love with this phone. I thought my Note 10 Plus was good. Oh my. Oh my. Just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I got more than 2 thumbs up, if that's possible, Steven. Okay, that's what I can say. Anyway, okay, Take 5 events tomorrow. It's going to be, and 9 a.m. Mr. Grumpy Vlogger is here. Welcome, Lloyd. Glad to see you tonight. Matt Bagwell's here tonight. Akarasho's here tonight. Yeah, so it's at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. My guess is probably about 8:45 or so. If you go out to Best Buy's website, you'll probably be able to order it. Same thing on DJI's website, probably about that time. Maybe Amazon. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be out there. But I've seen some other things out there and some other people. And I think our good friend Hendrick. Hendrick would love you. Okay. Rushed home from a sunset flight to watch you. Ray Kelly, God bless you. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. Glad you're here with us. All right. Our good friend Henrik, and Tech Drones Media, I think that's Henrik's channel. And forgive me, Henrik, I love your channel. Okay. Had a video that he's talking about, tomorrow's event, and they may talk about the Mavic 3, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. All right. That's going to be that's going to be the main part of the show tonight. But this is all this Take 5 event. Okay. Some people surmised, and I know I got some emails from some people. Oh, it's a Phantom 5. It's Phantom 5. Well, it's totally anticlimactic, guys. All right. It's one of those deals, it's a done deal. All right. But as we talked about here, okay. And we'll talk more about this coming up in the Mavic 3 segment. So stick around for that. We got some pictures to show you. You definitely want to stay in line with that. Okay. But yeah, so that's coming up. Now, the other thing here, all right. Yeah. What's not to love about Ray? Oh, absolutely. Captain Ray. Absolutely. All right. You never thought this was going to happen, folks. Okay. Admit it here. Okay. The V-Coptr Falcon is going to be released this week. All right. It's like, okay, let's just scratch my head on this one. I mean, seriously. All right. Seriously. Marcus saw it at CES, but wasn't flying. I think he saw like a dummy controller that looked really cheap or something. But yeah, it's coming out. We've only seen them flying it in cages and stuff. So let's go ahead, and I got an article to share on that. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to bring this up. I mean, this is like a surprise. It really is a surprise here, guys. Okay, because I didn't everybody had talked. Now they had taken deposits. I don't know if they gave refunds on those deposits or not. But let's take a look at this article. Zero Robotics has announced its V-Coptr Falcon bicopter drone going on sale in China on September 9th. While it's not a global launch event that Zero is planned for this week, the fact the product is finally ready to ship is good news for consumers who've been itching to try out this unconventional flying machine. Okay. With only 2 tilting rotors, flight time of 50 minutes. It was first announced December 2019. Okay. Pre-order your V-Coptr Falcon at $699 with refundable deposit. Happy New Year. Okay. Now that was on December 31st, 2019. Company then offered an update in January 2020 with a video from the official launch event where you could actually see the drone flying, and then they showed it at the event. When everything's going as planned, the V-Coptr Falcon was slated for February 2020, released when, of course, COVID-19 hit, and they had factory closures and production hit a roadblock. DJI continued to push out a bevy of new products. We heard nothing but radio silence from Zero Robotics regarding when pre-orders would be fulfilled. And there's a blow up of the actual drone itself. Now an official launch poster shared by well-connected tipster Kanhasji reveals the drone will go on sale in China at noon on September 9th. Considering the images of the product all boxed up and ready to ship have been doing the rounds since July, it's about time that sales begin. Okay. It's worth noting, though, that 00 may not be able to honor the early promised $999 price tag for this drone, while the ongoing global chip shortage is likely to have impacted V-Coptr Falcon's production costs. A 3-axis stabilized gimbal, 1/2.3-inch CMOS sensor, and a flight time 15 minutes should be enough to help 00 Robotics position the drone slightly above the mid-range segment. In any case, if this drone performs as advertised, it's going to get a lot of attention. We'll keep you posted about the general availability of this product. Okay, so while it's not going to be on sale here in the United States, it's going to be on sale in China, which is a good indication. Okay, we have something coming out here. This is a good thing. All right, it's definitely a good thing. It's exciting because, you know, last we heard from them was, like the article said, from DroneDJ, radio silence. We didn't hear a thing from them. And then now, boom, okay? We got something. Now, don't expect this to come to the United States just quite yet, all right? Let's get this out in China. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how they do with this. Let's see, you know, if it's cracked up to what, people are going to post video out there, and we'll see some things. Because it's on sale in China, probably Asia. It's probably available in Asia and Southeast Asia. So maybe somebody like L3 Toys will pick that up. So we'll see. And hopefully somebody will get some video out there from the drone so we can actually, not just see it fly, but see the video from it. And I think that's what a lot of people are anxious to do, because there's really been we've seen video of it flying and flying in a cage, which it can do, but we haven't seen any video from the drone itself. So this is going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see how this is. Is this going to end up being a great drone, or we all know what Brian Singleton likes to call drones like this? Okay, Brian, love you, Brian. Okay, all right, gonna move on here. All right, see if anybody else. Mike Hernack, welcome. Glad you're here tonight with us. Okay, all right. Let me pop out the chat. I hate that whenever I share something, the chat, the pop out goes away and all that kind of good stuff. But anyway, here. All right. Now, believe it or not, this one kind of surprised me. Autel has come out with an Evo 2 Enterprise Edition. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see if we can get that up on the screen here. And we're going to share the screen here. All right. Autel releases Evo 2 Enterprise drones with spotlight, speaker accessories. See prices, okay? Well, there we go. It's a carbon copy of the Mavic 2 Enterprise drone, okay? Autel said these drones are toughest Evo 2 yet. A new carbon fiber design and enhanced transmission range, 8-mile HT transmission, make the Evo 2 Enterprise drones suitable for a variety of applications, including public safety, firefighting, search and rescue, traffic supervision, power inspection, and mapping. Maximum flight time you get is 42 minutes. Maximum wind resistance is 38 miles per hour. That's pretty doggone beefy, guys. That is pretty doggone beefy. For enhanced safety, the drones have now been equipped with ADS-B receivers so they can get signals from nearby planes and helicopters and warn operators they appear to be on a collision course. At the same time, 19 sets of sensors cover the airframe to provide 360-degree obstacle avoidance, okay? A loudspeaker, spotlight, RTK module, provides centimeter accurate positioning data and reduces electromagnetic interference, and then a strobe, okay? Ideal for high-resolution imaging, Evo 2 Pro Enterprise drones come with a 1-inch CMOS sensor capable of 6K videos and 20-megapicture stills. Noteworthy that the camera has 3x lossless and 16x digital zoom capability, as well as adjustable aperture range of f2.8 to f11. Though Autel hasn't revealed the price of the drone publicly yet, retail site B&H has a drone bundle listed at $37.50 as a coming soon item, okay? The dual 640T Enterprise drone offers 640 512 thermal imaging sensor with a 48 megapixel visual camera. Autel is providing multiple temperature measurement modes with this drone, including spot temperature measurement, regional temperature measurement, isotherm, and temperature alarms. Meanwhile, in addition to 16x digital zoom, the Evo 2 Dual 640T Enterprise drone supports 4x lossless zoom. The price for the Dual 640T Enterprise drone, B&H is accepting pre-orders for this drone bundle at $12,300. That's right, guys. You're gonna have to break more than one piggy bank, okay, for something like that. That's gonna set you guys back some serious coin, okay. Now, $3,750 for that enterprise drone. Think about this, okay? For search and rescue, for first responder type organizations, that type of thing, forestry service, Coast Guard, possibly, who knows? This is a viable option for them, all right? Especially with the range, with the flight time, being able to withstand 38-mile-an-hour winds. That's pretty doggone good, and you're going to be able to do a lot with these drones. Yeah, they did kind of copy off of DJI here, that's for sure. But I think it's a good thing, guys. I really do. I think we'll see a lot of good out of this drone. Now, of course, the thermal imaging one, that's going to be a first responder type of a situation there, especially for fire, search and rescue. Okay, that's going to be invaluable. Obviously, no footage, no detail, no other details other than what we've seen in this article. So stay tuned for that. This is going to be real interesting to see how this plays out, and I'm real interested to see if these specs will hold up, and it kind of sounds like they do. And I know Ron has been very pleased with his Autel Evo 2 Pro in 6K, and he's done some fantastic. Ron's a Jedi master of sunsets, so and he does some magic with that, and he does a great job. So this looks like a real winner. I think Autel's kind of hit a home run with this, guys. I mean, now realize if you want to pony up, I don't even know if consumers can buy this straight off the rack like this. I'm not real sure about that. So, oh, Michael Wright is in. Welcome, Michael. Glad to see you here tonight. Yeah. I'm just, I don't know. For me, we'll see. My whole thing has been, with Autel has been their software, but they've been coming up around lately. Well, look who is joining us tonight, Mr. Marcus Crawford. How are you, my friend?
Good. I'm right in the middle of editing. They just had a firmware update for that Xeno Mini Pro today, so of course I updated it, took it out for a flight. But I thought I'd drop in for just a few minutes, Bill, just to say hello and see how everybody's doing.
Well, you came at the right time because we were going. This is what the segment could not have been any more appropriate. Because now you know what I wanted to name this segment: Rainbow, Lollipops, and Sunshine. Okay,
for our friend Ron Brown.
Okay, yeah. Because this is what Hubsan put out another video today, and it is rainbow, lollipops, sunshine, clear blue skies. Not a cloud in the sky. Everything is fine with Hubsan, but Marcus knows the real story.
Yeah. They did make a lot of improvements with this recent firmware update. Sadly, it's the video that is still lacking. And what's the purpose of a GPS camera drone? Is that camera. So that's a problem. I can say this, Bill. The issues that I had early on with disconnections and with features not available on the drone, while not everything is there yet, they've turned a lot of stuff on, and I tested a bunch of it out today, and it's working great. The drone flies great. It just needs a camera and a gimbal.
Yeah, well, I went out to the group today, and I took a look at somebody, and he's talking about there's this bluish cast on his video. That I don't know if you've seen that or not.
Yeah, that's been an issue for a while with, and they did actually. Now you can manually adjust the white balance. So I suspect you could probably adjust that out of there. You know, bluish tint means it's a little bit cold, so you could probably adjust that out. Although I want to tell you, today I just flew everything in full auto, right, just to see how it would go. But the main issue is there are still jello in the video, Bill. But
Yeah.
it micro shakes in that gimbal. Well, sometimes not even so micro, sometimes fairly big, and it causes that jello effect. Boy, just the focus is not quite right. The colors are not quite right. It's just not there, Bill. And I hope they get it. In one sense, it's kind of fun because I'm watching them improve the drone, just like we did with the original Xeno. You know, every time there's an update, it's something gets better, right? But you know, I don't know. This camera, it's going to be a tough deal. We'll have to see.
Yeah, you know, I watched your latest video, which was great, and I knew you were going to do that. Okay, I knew that. I mean, I was kind of waiting on your being able to do that comparison. Okay, which was inevitable. You know, but for me, okay, right now, all right, it's a no-brainer between choosing those two. You know, there's no choice. You know.
Well, Bill, so you remember the original. Well, in fact, you had a Xeno 2 and you sold it, but the original Xeno 2, it had its own set of problems. Well, the Xeno 2 Plus is a pretty darn good drone. It's got a little bit of lens flare, but beyond that, man, I think the camera's pretty good. It flies great. It's not as stable as this little Mini, but you know, they refined it with that Xeno 2 Plus. And so I guess we're kind of in that same mode with this Xeno Mini Pro.
Yeah, it's like you said, I think in a note to me, WIP, work in progress. I mean, this is what now see, you know, for people like you know, and a lot of us out there, for me, I'm putting my eggs in the DJI basket, and I know that's coming up. But you know, it takes people like you that have the patience of a saint to be able to run through this, okay? Because I'm telling you, and I think, you know, Ron would agree with me 100%. You know, you have the patience of a saint with drones like this because, you know, you're trying some of these $200 what what Brian Singleton calls them, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And you have the patience to try these drones out, and you're having the patience with this one, and that's, you know, and that's true. That really says a lot, okay? And I think people know that, okay? And we really appreciate your doing that. And I mean, hey, when Rick Smith is asking you questions, okay, boom, all right, boom.
Well, he wanted to know what my experiences were, and I wrote him a pretty long letter, just kind of outlining it all. But I just want to touch on one thing that you said a minute ago, you know, that you kind of stick with DJI. Well, it just so happened, or DJI, I meant to say, I just so happened today that I was doing some video with the Air 2S right after I flew the Xeno Mini Pro. And wow, what a difference. I mean, you know, that DJI drone is just so smooth and accurate and flies so awesome. And I was doing some testing with the Freewell variable neutral density X-Mist filters, and so I was doing some precision flying under some trees and so forth, and it just was so easy with that Air 2S. They just really make it easy. Anyway, yeah, it was just amazing, the contrast between the two. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you know, it's like, you know, it's like, okay, it's like going from driving, and let me put it to you in these kind of terms. It's like from driving a Chevy Vega to driving a Chevy Corvette. Okay. I mean, you know, and I'm sure you remember the Vega. Okay. I know I drove one myself. I didn't own one, but I drove one. I've driven a Corvette before too, and it's just like, it's like, come on, seriously. And that's what this seems to be like. An honest question for you, okay? Do you think, okay, that this was something that was avoidable had Hubsan taken their time and waited to come out with this drone?
Absolutely. I think they really made some missteps with the way they released this thing. This thing should have been way more refined before they had it out into the public. There's no question about it. And it's caused them a lot of problems with, I've heard rumors that PayPal shut them down because so many people were asking for refunds, a lot of issues that I'm sure if they could backtrack, they'd probably do differently. But I'm glad you brought that up, Bill, because one of the things that I'm committed to right now, listen, I am as angry as anybody else that this drone was not ready for prime time. I paid a lot of money for it, and I shouldn't be going through all this. But that said, what does it do just to complain about it, right? I was going to use another word, but complain about it. So what I've been doing is I've been uploading my flight logs to Hubsan and working with them on issues as they arise, and let's see if we can improve the product. I want to answer one question real quick. Akarasho is asking me about the zoom on the Xeno Mini, and yeah, it's still messed up. I tried it again today, and it's funny. The zoom, when you're looking at FPV, yeah, it crops right in at whatever you're zooming at. But when you look at the video off of the memory on the drone, it just doesn't do anything. So there's no zoom there at all. So I don't know what's going on there.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's just, and thank you for your observation. And see, and I think that's why people like you, Marcus, okay? Because you're not, you're a multi-drone fanboy, okay? Multi-drone company fanboy, okay? And like I am, and like Ron is, okay? It's, we hold no allegiance to these guys, okay? Which I think, makes our reviews. That's why I think, people will look at your reviews, at Ron's, at mine's, and some other channels that we have, because they're honest, they're straightforward, and you don't, you just, and as I think you said it, I just present things to people and let them make their own judgments. Okay.
I just show my experience, Bill. I show, that Bugs 19 drone was a prime example. It took me 4 tries to get a compass calibration and get it in the air. Well, I show that on the video because I figure if it happens to me, probably the average Joe that buys that drone is going to have a similar experience. And so just want to show the real deal instead of editing it out.
And that's a good thing. And, and it's like you said, okay, this is going to be a work in progress. And, my advice for people that, I would steer clear of the Xeno Mini Pro, and also, and you know what? And it kind of goes without saying, because Xeno's getting ready to unveil that SE, and, I would steer clear of both of those drones for a while.
Can I throw something out there on that one?
Go for it.
I'm not so sure, Bill. I'm not so sure I 100% agree with that. I suspect that SE, because they haven't set the bar so high, it's got a smaller sensor. It doesn't have obstacle avoidance, and a lot of those things that are using a lot of processing power on that drone, it may very well be the sweet spot. And in fact, you're probably going to call me an idiot, and I may be. I probably am, but I tried to order one last night on Hubsan's website. You can't do it because my understanding is that PayPal has cut them off. So when you go on Hubsan Worldwide's website, they take payment via PayPal. So I don't know if they're going to do something different or what. However, I guess my thought is, that drone, because it's not reaching out there so far, it might be pretty good. And I also want to add, Bill, when I tested all of the intelligent flight modes that they turned on today, they worked awesome. They all worked flawlessly, perfect. The tracking on that drone, it has both GPS tracking and optical tracking. The optical tracking is perfect. It holds you right in center of frame. Works perfectly. So, you know, there are things that they do right.
Yeah, you know, and it's to be commended, and you raise some valid points with the Mini SE from Hubsan. So, you know, because it's not as, you know, you made a good point about, you know, the bar's not being set here, it's down here, and I think it's and your point is very well taken, and I really agree with it. You know, it's much easier to hit that bar here than hit that bar up here, kind of a
And
thing.
of course, we won't know until we see it. So I don't
Right.
want to mislead people and think that I know something, because I sure don't. That's just me speculating. That's
Yeah, it's you're making a good educated guess based on your previous experience, okay?
Right,
Which
exactly.
which makes it makes a lot of sense. It really does to me. Okay, so you know, stay tuned. You know, I'm sure you know we'll find out what's going on. You know, and I did hear a little bit about that PayPal thing, which you know I'm kind of you know I got my money back ASAP. When I asked from Hubsan US, it was in my PayPal account like within 5 hours. Okay, it was fast. It got back there fast. So, you know, kind of stay tuned on that one.
Well, everybody did. I know. I see Johnny Alfonso, Johnny Drone Flyers in the chat here, and I know he got his money back almost immediately. I know that Ron got his money back pretty quickly. So, I think by that point, I hate to say this, but I think PayPal was kind of onto them, and they just weren't arguing with anybody. They were just sending them their money back.
Well, look who's joined us,
Hey,
Mr. Ron
Mr.
Brown.
Welcome, everybody. Hello, Marcus. Hello, Bill. Hello, everybody in the chat. I'm here with my Osmo Mobile 4 here. Will this be a old news after tomorrow?
It's gonna be an ancient relic, Ron.
Ancient relic. Put it right up on the shelf beside like my Phantom 4 or something.
Yes.
Marcus has the new OM5 already.
Hey, Ron, you're the guy that talked me into buying this thing.
The OM4?
The 04, yeah.
Yeah, we had to have
OM4.
that magnetic clip.
It's actually a pretty handy little device.
Bill, I will put you in a spot. Will you hit the buy button on the OM5 tomorrow?
I'm gonna pass.
Okay, second question. Is there any chance anything else gets announced tomorrow besides the OM5? Could we possibly see a Action 2 being mentioned?
Okay.
DroneDJ had an article today that the Mavic 3 may ship in October, November now. Will we see anything else besides the OM5 tomorrow, Bill?
Well, you know, Henrik, who does, I think it's Tech Drones Media. Okay,
Yeah,
is your channel? Okay,
yep.
And I like Henrik. He had a
yeah.
video about that. I didn't get a chance to watch it, where he's saying that they may do that. Now, this is a great segue into this segment here, okay? Because as you guys are, I know, are aware, you know, there have been some, let's call them detailed renderings.
Bill, did you leak those photos this morning?
I'm under DNA, okay. I don't want this to get out here. Now, you know, it's interesting because, you know, what really, you know, when you see these wild and exotic, you know, renderings, you know, you kind of know that it's like, it's not really the real deal kind of thing. All right. When you see renderings like you see right here, okay, this makes a whole lot of sense. All right.
It does really bring to life rather than those, you said artistic drawings.
And, you know, the other thing is, and somebody pointed this out, that the arms look a little thinner than on the Mavic 2 series.
Okay? And they look a little longer too, Bill.
Yeah, and they do look longer as too, Ron. I agree. You know, and it really kind of fits in line with everything that we've seen. Now, you know, when you start to get more leaks, and you guys know this too, I'm preaching to the choir, when you start to see more of this come out, okay, things are starting to ramp up. I mean, you know, there's been a lot of signs and indications lately, especially, you know, you can't really, it's hard to buy a Mavic 2 Pro right now, or Zoom. All right. DJI's website.
Yeah, as far as we know, they're discontinued from DJI.
Yeah, and even on Amazon have a hard time, or on eBay. I mean, it's really getting to be slim pickings if you're wanting to buy a Mavic 2 Pro or Zoom right now, because it's just not. They're just not out there. They're just not available. Okay. This was done by let's see. The latest images initially popped up on WeChat, one of the more popular Chinese social media networks. They were distributed on Twitter by Deal's drone account. Okay, and you can see them here. The proportions seem to be out. The arms are thinner than we'd expect. Other aspects, such as rear loading battery, are in line with previous images that we've seen. Okay. We have a source in China with his finger close to the pulse of the project. We ran the WeChat images past him. He says he knows the person who created them. The camera module portion, which is what will likely interest most people, is very accurate. Here's an excerpt from our texting today. The camera module is correct. That's what I was wondering about more than anything. So will be a zoom included? He said yes. The camera will be made by Hasselblad. Well, there's no continue. I still stand on my original point about the October-November release. The design of the Mavic 3 has been finalized. Okay, so this is a lot of information. Go ahead, Marcus.
Hey, Bill, before you go any further, you just made me think about one thing, and I want to acknowledge the fact that, you know what? You were talking about the Mavic 2 Pro, Zoom and Pro, both, and that they were discontinuing them. Let me tell you, that is going to be a drone that is going to be iconic, because it had such a long run and was the top of the game for 3 years, and you might even still be able to argue that in many cases it's the top of the game. And man, kudos to DJI for an awesome drone. I mean, that thing really held its own for a long time. And my question to both you and Ron is, can we expect the same thing out of this Mavic 3?
Well, Marcus, you make a great point about the Mavic 2 Pro and the Zoom and their long runs at the top. But Bill, is this unprecedented? Like, has any of the drones stayed like on top as long as the Mavic 2 did, or the Mavic 2 Pro, or however you want to say it?
Well, arguably that the Phantom 4 Pro has kind of held a pretty good reign on things. And it's still, especially with that manual shutter. Because
but not having OcuSync 2, having the older Lightbridge system, kind of, for some people, not all people, but some people, that takes it out of the equation.
Right. And then they did the V2 version, which I got, which had the OcuSync 2.0, which really kind of made it a little bit more of a beefier drone. But your point and Marcus's point is spot on. It's really been kind of like, almost, if you want to use the term, king of the hill for 3 years, and it's rarely had any challengers. I would say a good challenger to it has been the Evo 2, and you've proven that with some of your videos and photos, Ron. That Evo 2 6K is phenomenal. I mean, it really does a great job, and it does it very well.
Right, and now I don't want to be accused of being a DJI fanboy, and Autel does challenge them as far as camera quality, but they don't challenge them as far as having, all the quick shots and features and autonomous type of stuff. It's still more bells and whistles in the Mavic 2 series than there is the Autel Evo 2 series. And I would have gave Autel Evo a break for a year or so, but now we're a year and a half in, and it still hasn't got the feature set that the Mavic 2 has.
Hey, Ron, so I'd love to hear your opinion of the flight controls, because we've heard a lot of other big reviewers say that one of the things they complain about on the Autel drone is they prefer the DJI flight controls. You fly them both all the time. I mean, I know they're different, but how do you feel about it?
And I'm not as good a person, I guess, to answer this question in one way, because a lot of people that say this fly almost exclusive DJI. And I think that's why that comment's come from, where Marcus, you and I both, we fly almost all the different branded drones and whatever. So I don't get locked into only getting used to just how the DJI drones fly. And also, a lot of these early complaints were from people from when they first got the Autel Evo 2 Pro. And of course, it's been refined with firmware updates over the time, even as far as flight controls and things like that. So, for me, when I pick up the Evo 2 to go fly, I don't think I'm held back in any way from getting the shot I want from because it has any kind of flight
deficit or something.
Yeah, limitations. I don't feel limited by it. But again, I'm not a dyed-in-the-wool DJI person that only flies DJI drones, and the Evo 2 is my first non-DJI drone. If you don't worry that if you get the Evo 2, it's not going to be the Scudio or something like that where it's that's legit. When people say the Scudio doesn't fly like a DJI drone, that's legit.
Right.
Here's a question for both of you. Okay, we
never answered Marcus's question.
Well, that's true.
Marcus? What was the? I mean, I don't feel like the congressman again. Can you repeat the question part of your statement earlier?
Well, I mean, I just was asking about the flight controls.
Well, before that, you asked a question. I went into this big rant about the
Mavic 3,
about the Mavic 2 being on top for such a long time. I asked Bill, is there any other drone that could rival? But you threw a question in there too, as well as making a statement about the Mavic 2 being on top for so long.
Ron, let me rewind the video and Hey, that said, well, Bill, you had a question, but
yeah, go ahead. I thought we answered, but yeah, I interrupted him or whatever. I threw the train off the tracks, and we forgot that question. Maybe it'll come back to us. But
all right. Well, here's my question for you guys: is this okay? Now we've been talking like the Mini 3 is going to come out in November and all this stuff. Okay, now getting this news that we got today with some of these messages. It indicates possibly we're not going to have a Mini 3. We're going to have a Mavic 3. I mean, do you guys think this is going to happen, or do you think it's more a Mini 3 or what?
Lauren, can you tell us?
Lauren's under DNA. Don't get that man in trouble.
Yeah, no, I mean, who the heck knows?
Yeah.
I'll be thrilled to death with either one of them, Bill.
Oh, I will too.
Yeah.
Let me answer Bill's question. With a kind of a second question. Do I think it can happen? Yeah, it can happen. I don't know. Other companies have released big products back to back, and even DJI in the same couple and within the span of, I'm going to say, the fall of 2000, whatever, they released the Phantom 4 Pro and the Mavic 1 and the Mavic Pro. Came out in the course of just I'm going to say in the course of 2 or 3 months, both of those flagship products dropped, and other companies done the same thing. But here's the bigger question, Bill. It can happen, but the bigger question is, if you get the Mini 3 and the Mavic 3 come out in the same time span in a month or two or whatever, will you shell the money out for both of them, or will you just pick one of them and concentrate on that one?
There you go. I mean, it's like how many piggy banks can you break open? Okay, to do that.
How many drones can you review at the same time? Like I feel, for instance, if I got them both, and I took the Mini 3, that every time I took the Mini 3 out, it would be like a pain in the butt saying, "Oh man, in the middle of doing these great reviews of the Mavic 3, I got to go out and fly this thing that doesn't have this, that, or the other, or whatever." So, did I drive Marcus away?
I don't know. You maybe he flew the coop here. Okay,
he's under DNA. He couldn't talk about that.
He's probably under. Yeah, he probably is under
beyond
DNA.
The point of having all the money to buy this stuff, the point is, do you really need 2 new drones at almost the same time?
Well, that's a good question, and it's like, and you bring up, while it's humorous and it really is, what do you review first? The Mini 3 the Mini 3 will be a Mini 2's been a runaway hit. Okay. Yes. And I look at it in terms of my group popularity. Okay.
Right.
And it's pretty close to the Mavic 2 group in terms of the number of people that are on it. It's like 12, 13, 14,000 people in both of those groups. So, I mean, they're both popular. They're going to both be popular drones. It's like review one day, review the other. I mean, it'll keep you busy. That's for sure.
If you do get both or whatever. And you make a good point. More of your subscribers will buy the Mini 3 than they will the Mavic 3, but the Mavic 3 will be the product that you're going to be more enthusiastic about kind of flying and delving into, because you know, if it has the specs that we read off last week, I mean, it'll be the drone of drones. It'll be your go-to, right, Bill? I mean,
Oh,
like
absolutely,
if I call
yeah.
you up and say, let's go down to Remington Beach and catch that sunset down there, you're not gonna bring the Mini 3 with you. You're gonna bring the Mavic 3, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that's a good point, Ron. And what I want to focus on here. Okay, it's been 3 years since we've had a new Mavic Pro. Okay, if you will. All right, it's only been a year since we've had a new Mini. All right, and the jump that they'll have in technology from the Mini 2 to the Mini 3, it'll be appreciable, but it won't be as great a jump as the Mavic 2 to the Mavic 3.
Right,
okay?
right. And that jump, you can recognize that big jump more than you can the incremental update that the Mini 3 will probably be over the Mini 2.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the other thing, and I try to talk about this with people, about preparing them for sticker shock and why it's going to be sticker shock. I'm a firm believer, okay, with this Mavic 3, it's not going to have a standard controller. It's going to come with a smart controller standard. I mean, there's going to be no option for the regular analog type controller anymore. It's going to be a smart controller. That's it. And that's why, you're going to have a 2K or more kind of price tag on this. It's going to be, that's going to be one of the reasons.
True. And to your point, most people that bought a smart controller version 1, at the time it only flew one drone or whatever, but most of the people who bought the smart controller 1 also had a Mavic 2. Well, it had to be, but it tendency that anybody has a smart controller probably has a Mavic 2 sitting around someplace.
Yeah. So
they go together real well. And of course, Bill, it could mess your finances up if you got to factor in the V-Coptr also.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw that. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. Where that's coming out. Well, they're saying they're going to have a hard time probably keeping that at $999. That was their original price on that, and that it's only going to be coming out in China right now, which will be on the 9th. Which will be Thursday. I'm trying to think what day of the week.
I read the 8th, but you could be the 9th over there or whatever. Yeah. And they say only come out in China. Does that mean the only way you can get one is to fly to China and go into a brick and mortar store? Is that they don't really say what that means come out in China? Does that mean that'll be on Banggood and GearBest that day? Or
I don't know. My thinking is, if you live in Asia or Southeast Asia, kind of like, Vietnam or, where L3 Toys are in Malaysia, those kind of areas will probably be able to purchase that drone is what I'm thinking. And what I'm anxious to see, and, while we did see pictures of it flying and albeit in a cage and whatnot, okay, we really haven't seen any video from it.
Just like the Xeno Mini Pro, the thing is days away from release. And there's no actual flight video of it on YouTube, or no influencers have it on YouTube. So it is starting to worry me this early, Bill. I'm already starting to worry, is it going to be? Lauren pointed out in the Drone Nation Facebook group today, he said, the camera has on it, he said it's the same camera that the Mavic Pro 1 had on it. So it's got an old camera on it. And it's a $999 price point. This, I don't know, outside of somebody just got to have everything or have everything unique, who's buying this drone? Yeah,
50-minute runtime is pretty incredible, but with a Mavic 1 Pro camera on it,
and folks, anybody has a Mavic Pro 1, I'm not knocking the camera. The camera's fine, but it's a 3-year or more older camera on it.
Well, yeah, we saw the difference. When we were at the beach together, we saw the difference between the Mavic 2 and the original Mavic camera when looking at the sun. Ron looked at mine and he was just like, his jaw dropped. And I looked at his and it was dark. It was hard to see. And
the only thing you could see was the sun.
Yeah, the only thing you could see was the sun. So there's an appreciable difference between that camera, and the leap in technology that has happened since then is pretty appreciable. So that's going to, well, you know, I think I know what I won't use the phrase, but you know what Brian Singleton would probably say about this kind of a drone.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah. He has a choice word for that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, even if you told me I could put my 999 down, it would be at my house on Thursday or whatever. I still not touching this thing with a 10-foot pole, and I'm not knocking the drone. I don't know anything about it except what you see on the internet. It could be the greatest drone that's ever taken off. So I'm not knocking at that, but I'm just saying I'm a little skeptical, especially skeptical with my my pocketbook.
Now, Marcus and I had a little discussion before you joined us, you know, about the Xeno Mini SE, because that's supposedly on the doorstep and waiting to come out. And he thinks
the date is supposedly the September 30th.
He's of the opinion. This is what he said during the segment was, you know, because, you know, the bar for the Pro is up here. The bar for the SE is here because it doesn't have optical avoidance, doesn't have a lot of those features.
Doesn't have the big camera sensor.
The camera sensor, because the bar set lower, the feature set is lower on it. You know, it may perform like it should out of the box, kind of a thing.
I mean, that is an interesting theory, and it could be true, and it could be true in Mark's case because his under the current operating system, his Mini SE seems to fly well. But other people on Drone Nation last week, we had Ross Langdon from down under in Australia. We had Greg Pittman from Kansas on, and both of them, one of them had a drone that flew into a tree out of control, you know, and another one had one that just completely flew away. So, I mean, it's not going to help situations where the drones fly away. And in your groups, too, you probably see numerous reports of people cannot calibrate the thing because of magnetic interference, even if they're in the middle of a cow field. So, I mean, we're still back to the thing with the Hubsan V products. Yeah, there are good ones out there, you know, but you've got to be lucky, the lucky one, to get the one that actually kind of works right.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I asked Marcus this question, and you know, I asked him, in your opinion, because you've had a lot of stick time with it, do you think that if Hubsan had waited to come out with this drone, that it would not have these problems? And he said yes. He said had they taken their time, they would have had a chance to refine all of this, and it wouldn't have the headaches and the hassles that everybody's having right now.
Bill, you bring up a great point, and that maybe give you this scenario. What if they would have released the SE first?
Yeah,
sure, everything was good in the SE, and then did their software updates. And then once they had the SE working, flying good, all the features working, then they come out with the Xeno Mini Pro, where they've already, you know, kind of tested a lot of the basic features with the SE. Would that have been maybe a better business model here, Bill?
Oh, absolutely. That would have made so much more sense, Ron. You know, to come out with a mid-level, you know, that has a good feature set and something that can really pass muster, meaning, you know, go out to drone reviewers like us and, hey, you know, the video's good, the video's stable, there's no micro shakes, the gimbal works well, you know, we're getting a good runtime with the drone, the signal strength as well, there's no problem in dropouts, communication, you know, calibrates well, you know, to have, you know, all that kind of stuff. And that would have really set the bar for the Pro. That way, you know, we know all this works, okay? And then Hubsan could have just knocked it up a little bit more and said, okay, we're going to add obstacle avoidance. We're going to add the better sensor in there. And we're going to refine that, all right? And take some time with that. You know, that would have made so much more sense for them to do that, Ron.
Yeah, yeah. And back to the bigger picture. Okay, say this Marcus is completely right. This SE comes out and it, you know, it has a lot less expectations. There's a lot less stuff, and the chip is powerful enough to do the things that good. But still, Bill, would you still have a hard time recommending the Xeno Mini SE at $349 over the DJI Mini SE at $299? And I understand the Fimi SE promises 4K, and we know we own 2.7K on the DJI SE, but it would still be a hard recommend, right? That somebody pay $50 more and get the Hubsan SE.
Yeah, Yeah, you can't. I mean, you know, until that drone comes out and you know you get to shake the trees with it and everything. You know, the Mini SE, the DJI Mini SE, it's a no brainer for $299, Ron. It really is. You
Yeah.
know, for what comes with it and out of the box. I mean, literally, you know, you download the app, power things up, charge things up, and you're good to go. You're ready to go with it. I mean,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and there's no guessing game. There's no like.
Yeah.
Or we're going to have to calibrate this, calibrate that kind of thing, and you know, and hope for the best kind of a thing. So
The only place that the Hubsan SE makes sense is in the foreign market, especially the Asian market, where DJI marks up their products or whatever. And,
yeah,
and those markets, the Hubsan SE will be more affordable. So it kind of makes a little bit of sense there.
yeah.
Hey, not to jump around too much, but did you see just a couple hours ago, Apple sent emails out to all their customers, put your calendar down for September 14th. That's the day that the iPhone 13 event, and also
Okay.
rumors of the new Apple Watch coming out that day.
Well,
You got the Fold?
there's the Fold right here.
Have you flown with it yet, Bill?
No, I haven't. I haven't flown with it yet.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you this, Ron. You know, even having this little screen right here, okay, on the front, you can do everything with this. Okay, I can get into apps. I can take pictures with it. It's phenomenal. I absolutely love it. And Galaxy Watch 4
So
came
you're all
today.
set up.
All right, it has new biometric sensors. It's finally catching up to Apple. Okay,
Good.
it has real robust health features on it and biometric sensors, which that's the reason I traded my watch in too. And it's seamless. So yeah. I don't know if you saw this, and we talked about this earlier, and I kind of wanted to get your take on it. Okay, DroneDJ put out an article today about the Autel Evo 2. They now have an enterprise edition. All right. And
Our good friend Original Dobo Ken Dono already did a real nice unboxing on it a week.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, he's a recorded video, and Autel has an official video in their channel too. You know, if anybody wants to go take a look at it.
I mean, this is I think it's gonna sell well, Ron, because you know they talked about 40 minutes of flight time, can withstand 38-mile-an-hour winds. Really, it's going to be a robust drone for those enterprise type situations.
Search and rescue and everything.
Exactly.
It has the lights on it, which Ken said were very bright. It has a speaker. It has the RDK unit. I think I'm saying that right. Marcus explained to me that just hyphens the sense of everything on the drone. The drone is more precise. I kind of didn't understand what that RDK unit did until Marcus kind of explained it to me. And
It's positioning, and it can position it within a centimeter,
right,
and tell you where. And that's important for search and rescue and first responder type of situations. For something like that, I think that's going to be an invaluable tool.
And now, of course, with DJI being still kind of an entity list or whatever, I guess that kind of cripples their enterprise sales a little bit. So they kind of like leave the market up a little bit more for Autel, Scudio, Parrot. And I know Scudio has that unique thing where they have, that you can pre-program the Scudio to do bridge inspections. It can get closer than much other drones, even in automation, because of its amazing obstacle avoidance. So a lot of these companies are really, making great strides in that enterprise market.
I think so. And, it's going to be great to see, what Apple's going to be coming out with here and how much it's going to cost. And, especially in light of, with this chip shortage and everything, to see how all that pans out. And
we know the event's next week, but how long after the event will it take you to get the phone? If whether you can get the phone like within a week, like usually the usual timeline is he announces that you can get it next Friday or whatever. Well, I'll be interested to see if that timeline is still maintained. During the of course I imagine Apple had enough pull. They probably whatever factory they had theirs made at, they probably got first in line.
Yeah, I think you're right. So, they have pretty good pull over in China.
Well, how the pull is Tim can order more units. The more units you can order at one time, the further you go up in the front of the line.
Yeah, see, I think what's going to happen, I think they've learned, companies have learned, and what really taught everyone a good lesson was when the original Mavic Pro came out. DJI completely, underestimated the popularity of that drone, and it took months to get that thing fulfilled. I mean, people ordered them in October, didn't get them till January. I mean, it was really that bad.
And really, that was a real game changer. The first foldable quality drone. I mean, before that, we had smaller drones, but no drone of any consequence was foldable at that point. So that was probably the game changer of all time.
It really was. It set the bar for everything.
Yeah, the old Phantom 4 style is obsolete now. Whatever the big that iconic shape to it's going now, Bill.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. So, any closing thoughts tonight, Ron?
When we were talking about the Apple event, I thought of something else for a second too, but it already slipped my mind. So much news came out kind of today or whatever. Some of it big, some of it small, whatever. Some of it just leaks. Oh, I know. I mentioned I got the email from Apple, and Bill Thomas posted this already in one of the groups. That Skydio2 sent an email out today to its people today. They're offering some kind of packages on buying like accessory kits today. I did not click all the way through and see what those deals were, but they are offering some kind of discount. Maybe you need extra batteries. Maybe you need, something, whatever. Maybe you can get a whole kit, but they're having some kind of event. So, for the first time almost ever, Skydio2 is actually trying to promote you to buy more. Before they couldn't fill orders. Yeah, they were discouraging buying. Now they're setting out sale events. So I'll dive into that a little bit more, Bill, and try to get some more information.
Yeah, that would be good to find that out. I got the email too because I'm still on Scott.
And Scott doing chat throughout the GoPro 10, which we didn't discuss. The rumors heating up hot and heavy for that GoPro 10 possibly coming out at the end of the month. And surprisingly, the chip shortage didn't slow GoPro down at all either.
No, it didn't. And I think they'll come out, and I think I don't think there'll be a whole lot of surprises with it. My only
they already have the side of the box, so the specs have pretty much been leaked already.
Yeah. So. My thing is I'm hoping that the audio can be good on it, because I know that's always been a question with GoPro. And, I know with the Osmo Action, the first one, until they came out with their solution, the audio was horrible. It was not good at all. That's for sure. Right. Definitely. For me, I'm really looking forward. I'm thinking that the Mavic 3 is going to be here sooner rather than later.
I'm all on board with that too, Bill. I'm ready. Well, Bill, you and I have been pontificating about this before the COVID even started. Remember the droneless year of 2018 when we didn't get a new drone from a big company until the Mini came out in November. So we've been pontificating about this Mavic 3 before the Mini 1 came out. So, I mean, we've been playing a long game on this one, haven't we, Bill?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I went back because last month, and I looked on memories on Facebook, and, it came popping up on the timeline when Valerie and I went to Brooklyn, for the event 3 years ago. We had a wonderful time. It was kind of like a mini vacation for us, but a wonderful time there. And without even having to go on the
back on the good old pre-COVID days, Bill.
Yeah, that was pre-COVID. So that was nice. And we really enjoyed ourselves, had a good time, and didn't even have to go into Manhattan to have a good time. So that was real good from Brooklyn. Brooklyn is a great place. But no, I think, we could be having to open a couple of piggy banks come November, December this year, which, you know what? That's a good thing, Ron.
I got a lot of stuff around the house that needs to be sold. I can rustle up a few shekels.
I'm probably the same way, and who knows, we may find out, at this event tomorrow, it's possible we could find out about the Action 2. That could be possible as well.
Hey, real quick, will you, because Marcus talked about the Mavic 2 Pro being iconic, would you still consider holding on to your Mavic 2 Pro and not?
That's a tough decision, Ron. That's a real tough decision. Iconic, yes, and and I know a lot of people like to do the comparison between the old and the new, but for me, when one chapter is closed, you open up the next
Move
chapter,
on,
okay?
right,
And you don't go back because you've already read that chapter. So
Gotcha.
I'm kind of like that kind of a person. So I think I would probably sell the Mavic 2 and, you know, and just be full on with the Mavic 3.
Gotcha.
That's kind of where I think I'm at.
Makes sense for most people. It does.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. I want to thank Marcus. Was great. We had a great conversation with him, especially about the Xeno Mini Pro. And
sorry he had to disappear. I hope he's okay.
And well, I think he had to go. He said he was only going to be able to be on for a short while anyway. Okay. So I'm sure Sarah called for dinner, and he doesn't. That's not something you want to miss.
Don't call me late for dinner, right?
That's right. That's right. So thanks everybody for showing up. Really appreciate each and every one of you. And God, you know, always a shout out to Stephen Ewing, because you know what time of the night it is over there. You know, it's
good old Stephen Ewing. Yep.
It's 0:30 over in good old Ireland right now, and our friend Stephen Ewing is over there, and we thank you so much for your support, and everybody too. Ray Kelly, Johnny Drone Flyer,
and continue praying for Johnny Drone Flyer, who still doesn't have electricity down in.
Okay. Ray Kelly, Crypto Man, Scott Nadu, Fly Zone Drones. Lauren showed up tonight. I want to thank everybody, and always, guys. Remember, it's a great day to fly. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.